Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. All I've ever wanted for all of my life was for my voice to be heard, and Descendants gave me that opportunity. Descendants not only gave me the opportunity to talk about such beautiful cast members, but it also gave me the opportunity to meet all of you. You are quite lovely, and there is nothing else I would rather do with the rest of my life than talk about Descendants and zombies. After having fallen into this niche, I know that all of you girls are the most respectful, most kind, most genuine, and by far the most gentle people that I have ever had the opportunity to sit in front of a microphone and talk about what you love so much. This is an honor. There is no other way to describe it, only an honor. I first saw Descendants on the red carpet for the red carpet premiere of Descendants in 2015 when I got a bunch of emails about Descendants and how beautiful of a franchise this was. So I started covering it when they were promoting it on the red carpet. I remember the gowns that Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson wore. They were like fairy tale princesses. And it was leading up to the premiere of Descendants, and I knew that the first Descendants, the initial Descendants movie, was going to be absolutely spectacular. And my prediction turned out to be pretty accurate. A lot of stuff that I would make analogies on the radio were far from accurate in years past. But my analogy on Descendants was pretty accurate. It blew up overnight with 781 million hours of stream time for the original trilogy, and then following in its footsteps was Zombies. But Descendants really is what started it all. Because without Descendants, we would not be here tonight. If not for Dove Cameron, we wouldn't be here tonight. I wouldn't be here tonight. We wouldn't be sharing in and talking about the same passion that has brought us all together. Forever and always, Dove Cameron will hold a special place in my heart. Now, I know I've been devoting a lot of time to talking about and critiquing the new franchise, The Rise of Red, starring Kylie Cantrell, Ruby Rose Turner, and I will not deny that I fell in love, head over heels in love with Ruby Rose Turner. I think she is incredibly beautiful. She is fearless. She's fierce. She doesn't care what anybody thinks of her, and whatever anybody thinks of her, she's just going to let them have it. And she is just an incredible person. I love Ruby head over heels. But Dove Cameron is someone who is very special to me. She will forever and always hold a special place in my heart. And I've talked about a lot of celebrities over the years on the radio and on YouTube. Lindsay Lohan was one of my first celebrities that I ever had the opportunity to talk about. And I was very fond of Lindsay Lohan. From Lindsay Lohan, I went from Lindsay Lohan to Emily Osment, from Emily Osment to Miley Cyrus, from Miley Cyrus to Selena Gomez. I talked about a lot of celebrities, and it was a huge honor for me to have the opportunity to give my opinion on them and do so much for them over my 25-year career. But no celebrity other than Dove Cameron has made me famous overnight. I've talked about a lot. I've talked about Hannah Montana and her skyrocketing to superstardom. I've talked about Selena Gomez and her struggles with relationships involving Justin Bieber. I've talked about everybody. But the one person who made me famous overnight without a shadow of a doubt had to have been Dove Cameron. I let Ryan McCartan have it on my show last year because I didn't agree with how Ryan McCartan was treating Dove Cameron and how he was getting away with it because he wanted to perceive them for having a flawless image. And one thing that I've gotten to know about celebrities over the years is they have far from what they refer to as flawless images that are perfect because they are far from perfect. All Dove Cameron ever wanted to do was just be herself. And Dove Cameron wanted to have fun while she was being herself. I remember her on a TV show many of you can remember from your childhood called Liv and Maddie. And I'm sure I'm triggering a lot of heartstrings and bringing back a lot of fond childhood memories from mentioning Liv and Maddie. But I mentioned Liv and Maddie because I had so many fond memories of watching Liv and Maddie, and if there was one TV series I could bring back as a creative director for Disney, it would have to have been Liv and Maddie. 75 episodes for a TV series is a far cry from what Hannah Montana had 15 years ago as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana next year. And Disney is planning something really huge for that. But I think that Liv and Maddie was a TV series that ended long before its time. But one of the things that I am forever grateful for, eternally grateful for, is having the honor of getting to know who Dove Cameron was. Because 15 years ago, I didn't know who Dove Cameron was. I didn't even know she existed. Until all you beautiful girls started emailing me about Dove Cameron. And you put me in this seat every night talking about Dove. And I'm very appreciative of you. And I'm very appreciative of how you feel about TV shows like Liv and Maddie and a franchise like Descendants. Because Descendants was made up of a cast of very fearless girls who didn't care what anybody thought of them. And because they didn't care about what anybody thought of them, criticism did not affect them at all. Because a lot of celebrities would crack under pressure. I saw Hilary Duff crack under pressure. I saw Demi Lovato crack under pressure. I saw so many celebrities just vanish without any explanation being offered, and just go away for forever. Just vanish. Fade off into obscurity. But when it comes to someone like Dove Cameron was always there in the public eye to promote what she had to promote, do what she had to do, and be there for each and every one of you. I have never seen a celebrity go out of her way and above and beyond the requirements of any celebrity that I've ever had the honor and the privilege of covering over my 25-year career. Be there for fans as much as what Dove Cameron has been. And for that, Dove Cameron will forever hold a special place in my heart, and have taken a piece of my heart with her. I love Dove Cameron so much. She's just so strong. After everything she went through, I mean, who goes through their dad committing suicide, witnessing their friend be killed on the set of a movie? I mean, that's dramatic in its own right. And then Dove also had to wrap her mind around why her dad didn't love her as much as what she thought he initially did. He used to give her money to get her out of the house, get her away from her, so he could go do different things for his own life, prioritizing himself over his own family. It was really heartbreaking reading Dove Cameron's story, but I'm very thankful that I had the opportunity to profile Dove Cameron's story, because I know how much of a profound effect she had for each and every one of you and on all of your lives, because of her portrayal of the characters. Liv and Maddie, she playing the double life on Liv and Maddie was so cool. I wasn't too fond of Brian McCartan, how he thought the show should have revolved around him, and the whole relationship with Dove had to revolve around him. And then Thomas Doherty followed suit and believed the whole relationship with Dove Cameron should have revolved around him and his image. Where did Dove fit in? That's the question I got. And when people look at Dove Cameron and say that people like you more when you talk less, I think a girl has a right to talk. I think a girl deserves the opportunity to let her voice be heard, because a girl is really the only thing that's ever made sense to me in my life. And I say this because I have seen some of my all-time favorite celebrities tore down and had to be rebuilt from the ground up. Ruby Rose Turner, Kylie Cantrell are some that I can use as examples for you. Dove Cameron didn't deserve to be treated the way she was, not only in her relationships, but also by the media, because everybody just turned it around in a way that made Dove look like the bad guy, when Dove was far from the villain. Dove was a very innocent person who was just a victim in a situation that I'm very thankful she took herself out of. I've often said to you that if you're in a situation where, the best piece of relationship advice I could give to you is that if you're in a situation where you feel uncomfortable and not being noticed or being appreciated for what your worth is and your true value, you have to be strong and you have to remove yourself from the situation. And I like to believe that a lot of girls have taken my advice and removed themselves from situations they don't need to be in. Because I've often said, and I've often reiterated, that girls are the only thing that's ever made sense to me in this life, because they help me make sense of everything that happens to me in my life, the circumstances I'm faced and presented with. I don't know what to do. You girls are the ones that know what to do. You girls know what you love, and if you say you love Descendants, then I'll talk about Descendants for you for the rest of my life. If you say you love zombies, I'll talk about zombies for you for the rest of my life. Liv and Maddie, I'll talk about Liv and Maddie for the rest of my life. The Winchesters, I'll do that. If you say you love American Housewife, I'll do that. Because I know that you're all that makes sense to me, and you're all that's ever made sense in this life, not just for me, but for every idiot guy that makes up the world's population. You're the reason why the world revolves. So whatever you're into, I'm along for the ride. And I think it's been an incredible journey that you girls have got me on, talking about Liv and Maddie, talking about Descendants, talking about every movie Dove Cameron has been involved in, her projects. I must have seen every movie Dove Cameron was in. I remember her in a movie called Cloud 9. I believe she played Kayla Morgan in that movie. Did she not? An aspiring snowboarder, a champion snowboarder. I remember that. And she did such a cool job with that. She had a lot of these cool roles, like one of the voice of the Powerpuff Girls on the live-action Powerpuff Girls series on the CW, which was canceled, again, long before its time. I believe she played Bubbles on that show. I think I'm correct in saying that. I remember when herself and the cast of the live-action Powerpuff Girls used to get together and party for things like Dove Cameron releasing a single off of her EP, and I remember watching her have so much fun. With everything Dove Cameron did, she put her heart in her half. She really put her heart and her soul behind everything she did, and I missed her in the 2 years she was gone. But in the 2 years she was gone, I had the opportunity to review Descendants: The Rise of Red, which was a 5-year hiatus for Descendants, and then they come right out of the blue with Descendants: The Rise of Red, and I remember how much criticism The Rise of Red had received. And then Dove Cameron said she would be watching Descendants from afar, and I like to believe that she is, although that can't be confirmed. She has said it in a lot of podcast interviews. But I remember how much criticism The Rise of Red received, and I was heartbroken over it because I thought Kylie Cantrell was the most fierce and fearless individual that I had ever laid eyes on in my life. I thought Ruby Rose Turner was the same. And when Ruby made the announcement on X, on all social media platforms pertaining to her, that she was leaving Descendants and parting ways with the franchise, I was heartbroken over it, and then she furthered it by saying she wasn't going to be a part of the Worlds Collide Tour. She wasn't going to be a part of Descendants 5 because the essence of time travel had been removed from it. I don't know if it was Ruby's decision to part ways with the Descendants franchise, or the writers and producers felt there was no need to have her portray the young Queen of Hearts because there was no time travel, and they were going to focus on the Kingdom Cup games, which I would have loved to have been the announcer voice for, because I have a perfect announcer voice for it, a really sexy voice, but that's what goes without saying. But I think that if it were up to Ruby, she would still be just as big of a part and influence behind the Descendants franchise if it were up to her. I think the writers made the decision, the writers and producers, to remove her from this. And then I think a lot of people created rumors started buzzing around the internet about how Dove Cameron was going to be returning to reprise her role, and it was getting the hopes up of a lot of people. I've never wanted to take any hopes away from anybody of Dove Cameron having anything to do with the Descendants franchise. I wish she was still reprising her role as Mel, even if she was just making a cameo from here to there. She didn't have to have a full-time position on the cast of Descendants, but I can see why everybody would miss the original cast. I mean, Sophia Carson is one of the strongest girls that I've ever laid eyes on in my life. She's a beautiful singer, a beautiful actress, and it was her first opportunity to really break out in movies as the character Evie, a character who had no backstory whatsoever, and that was so fabulous. That's what's so fabulous about the original Descendants movie. While a lot of people took notice of how the movie was really lackluster, meaning that it was a very deep story, but it was also very lackluster because a lot of stuff was left out of the movie that you expected to see in the script. At some point in the script, you were expecting to see stuff you never got. By Descendants 2, you got more out of it than what you did from the initial experience. But the thing is about the Descendants cast, they were so one of a kind. They were so unique, is the word that I will use for you. And I think that ultimately, without Cameron Boyce, that just added fuel to the fire and gave more people more of a reason to miss the original cast and the original franchise, and people were crying out with desperate cries of wanting the original cast to have returned, and there are still people who feel that same way 10 years after the success of Descendants was first seen on July 31st, 2015, and I think that people are still wanting to see a reboot, but it's a long way away from ever happening. I think as the times changed, I think more people, settled with the idea of this new cast and what it was going to represent, because I think it's a really neat vibe. It's a really nice vibe, a really comfortable vibe that this cast presents us with. I think Ruby does a fabulous job as the portrayal of the young Queen of Hearts, although her time with the franchise was very short-lived. I think that Kylie Cantrell has done a fabulous job carrying the torch after having it passed from Dove Cameron to her, but I think it would have been really cool if the new Descendants cast would have had the torch passed to them in the same movie that Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson and Cameron Boyce were represented within, like they did with the Zombies franchise. Meg Donnelly and Mila Manheim in the same movie as Malachi Burton and Freya Skye, and the torch was officially passed on script to them. It wasn't done that way in Descendants because the Descendants cast wanted nothing to do with a fourth movie following the death of Cameron Boyce, which I can feel very sympathetic towards them for having done, although I can kind of concur with people who are saying it was an excuse for them to close the book, believing they had told the story and completed it. I think that was really doubting the hopes of every fan of Dove Cameron, every fan of Sophia Carson, and so forth. But I do refuse to close the book on seeing cameos of original cast members. Maybe Disney will kayfabe it, and we will have a special appearance by them at some point. I really don't know, but I would love to see something more done with the original cast because of just how different they were from everybody else. Personally, I loved watching the original cast because you never knew what to expect from one moment to the next. Kind of like the Zombies franchise, you never know what to expect in the way of creatures seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise. One moment is focused on zombies, the next minute is focused on werewolves, the next minute is focused on aliens, and now vampires, and now who knows what to expect by the time we get to Zombies 5, and what was in that vortex. It's beyond me. But I think where Dove Cameron's heart lies right now is with her relationship currently with Damiano David. I don't know how I feel about that guy. He looks awfully weird to me. If you want my honest opinion about Damiano David, he looks really weird, very different from a lot of guys that Dove Cameron's been with. But hopefully he treats her better than what Ryan McCartan and Thomas Doherty ever did. I've always wanted to vertical suplex Ryan McCartan. I never did have the opportunity to do it, although his YouTube show The Stage Door hasn't uploaded the video in over a year, so I'm very thankful that we did accomplish our goal on this YouTube channel, removing Ryan from YouTube, and I have each and every one of you to thank for that. I have each and every one of you to thank for the incredible amount of love and support that you have shown this YouTube channel, because I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. You gave me the opportunity and the chance of a lifetime to talk about a franchise that has attracted so many subscribers, thousands of views on this YouTube channel. And by the way, thank you for the first 500 watch hours that have been uploaded on this YouTube channel as of tonight. 500 even watch hours, over 30+ thousand views on this YouTube channel, and almost 3,000 subscribers as we reach our next milestone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 500 watch hours. One half of our first 1,000 watch hours. Let's keep it going. And I wish you would subscribe to this YouTube channel. I wish more girls would subscribe to this YouTube channel to help this YouTube channel become stronger, because what happens is the YouTube algorithm picks these videos up. They push these videos further out into the algorithm so somebody can find these videos who love Descendants and Zombies as much as the people who have previously subscribed. As you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you put more muscle on this YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel packs on more muscle and becomes more fierce. And I would love to see a significant increase in subscribers as the views increase on the videos that I upload. And I promise you, for fans of the original cast of Descendants, we will not only focus on Descendants, the Rise of Red's franchise, but we'll also focus on where it all began, where it all started, the original Descendants cast, the OGs, the original VKs, the OVKs, if you call them that, if I can get away with referring to them as that, because I know how much of a profound impact they have had on all of our lives, and I don't want to take that away from anybody who was a fan of Descendants 10 years ago, because I've had a lot of emails from people where they have told me that I trigger a lot of childhood memories, and I bring back a lot of fond memories of their childhood, no matter if it was from watching Liv and Maddie, no matter if it was from watching the original Descendants movies. I was a part of every original Descendants movie, and by the time Descendants 2 was released and the music got better with songs like Chillin' Like a Villain and Ways to Be Wicked, Space Between, what have you, I thought the music was fabulous. I thought Kenny Ortega had done a fabulous job. He's a legendary director in his own right. It made me want to be the director of Descendants, and by Descendants 3, I was so sad. I was saddened over the news that the original cast weren't going to be doing a fourth movie. I thought after the reprieve, the hiatus that it went on, it would have happened sooner than what it did, and I was really thankful that rumors started buzzing around the internet on D23.com that we would see a fourth Descendants movie called The Rise of Red. It was a very mysterious title at the time. I didn't know quite what to make of it, but I knew it was going to be a great movie once I found out who the cast were going to be making up the cast of The Rise of Red. And when I heard Kylie Control's name dropped and Ruby Rose Turner's name dropped and Mila Baker, after having seen her on the Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot in 2022, because of their work ethic, I knew this was a fierce cast and one of the strongest of all time that we've ever seen comprise up the Descendants franchise. Really huge fan of these guys, and I think they have a very promising future ahead for them, and I think we can see up to at least 2 more movies and beyond because of just the value and the sentimental value at that behind the Descendants franchise. The sentimental value that is attached to this franchise is absolutely incredible, and it is very enthralling, because I say that because we never knew what to expect from the original cast. We never knew what to expect from Cameron Boyce, who lit up every room that he ever had the honor of being in, and every person that he ever worked with. He not only brought the best out of himself, but he also brought the best out of everybody he worked with, Dove, Sophia, and he had wonderful friendships with them, and I can see why he's dearly missed, and he's one guy that I was very fond of. And I don't say that about a whole lot of guys on Disney Channel or for Disney Channel original TV series or movies, but Cameron Boyce was one of the best, one of the all-time greats, and I dearly miss him, and I love him so much. Just like I love all of you for going out of your way to hit my subscribe button. But the thing that I'll always remember about Dove was so fearless, and she didn't care what anybody thought of her, and she did the best not only to bring the best out of herself, but again, everybody she worked with. I know that's a really cliche saying, but she really did bring the best out of herself, and she did give it 110% no matter how much criticism she received. She really didn't give a shit what anybody thought of her, and because she didn't give a shit about what anybody thought of her, she went on to become one of the greatest of all time. And I have a profound amount of respect for Dove Cameron for doing what she did. All the interviews she did for Liv and Maddie, all the interviews she put behind Descendants, the PR was fabulous. And I think that more people are inspired because of this newer franchise now, because of what Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson left behind in their path. I think that the past of Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson is a true reflection on how powerful of a franchise Descendants ultimately became, and will never be forgotten because of the profound impact it's had on all of our lives. I will never forget the profound impact that Descendants has left on my heart and had on my life, because without Descendants, I would have never had the honor of meeting all of you. I would have never had the honor of letting you hear my opinion on Descendants and Zombies and sharing it with you. I'd be just some loser uploading videos to a YouTube channel nobody ever heard tell of. I was just a journalist who was covering stuff that made no sense in the professional wrestling industry, and your girls gave me the opportunity to continue my career in 2024, 2025, and beyond. Because in 2018, I thought my career was over. I thought I had said what I had said, and I had completed my career. My book, my story, if you would, had been told and completed. But you guys obviously saw a hero in me and saw the good in me when nobody else did, and that was what was really unique and very authentic about the Descendants franchise, is you saw the good in me when nobody else did. And for that, I have a profound thank you to each and every one of you. I may only have a little under 3,000 subscribers who have subscribed to this YouTube channel, but I don't know where I would be without each and every one of you. I can tell you anything going on in my life. I can tell you stories that tie in significantly to the Descendants and Zombies franchises. And I have a whole lot of fun doing it. I'm going to miss Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim on a side note, being a part of the Zombies franchise, because of just how powerful of a representation of Addison Wells and Milo Manheim's character as Zed were to the franchise. And I'm very thankful that they are behind the camera now as the executive producers of this and offering their insight and their knowledge of the Zombies franchise to secure the future of it. The release window is suggesting 2027, between now and 2027, and the release window looks to be summer 2026 as of right now, although it has yet to be confirmed for Descendants Wonderland, which is a title I really love. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to finding out where we go from here with the franchise, because, of course, the essence of time travel has been taken out of this, so they're removing anything having to do with Phineas and Ferb fans. But for the life of me, why didn't Bridget just come back to the present day from the past and continue on with her legacy for having been a part of the Descendants franchise? Why did she just part ways with the franchise without any explanation? People say it's because of this, because of that, but nobody really knows what happens off of camera. Nobody, there's a lot of politics I know behind the scenes, because I was a theater kid for years, and you can't expect everything just to be peaches and cream, but I miss Ruby so much. I think she ultimately became my favorite Descendants character, and I just want to say that for the record. Ruby was my favorite Descendants character, even with how much I love Dove Cameron and was incredibly supportive of Dove Cameron for how strong she was. I mean, that girl has muscles in places most people don't, and will probably be able to kick my ass. I really don't know. But the thing is, I have a lot of respect for Dove Cameron, I really do, and I want that to be known, and I want to ensure the futures and the legacies of these Descendant stars through my voice and this show on YouTube. I love creating it for you, and there is no place in the world I would rather be than sitting behind this podcast microphone, because it really is an honor and a privilege to have so many subscribers, so many people hitting the like button, and I give you my word, for every single person who likes any of my Descendants videos, retro or new vibe, I will create a video for every single like that I get. So for example, if I get 5 likes for this video, I will create an additional 5 videos over a period of time that will be uploaded to this YouTube channel. And if I get so many subscribers to these videos, then I'll just get in shape for the Descendants franchise and start working out every night. So if I see 2 or 3 subscribers by the time the sun rises tomorrow morning, well, then I'll start doing sit-ups and stuff for Descendants, because we need a prince that we can trust in, and we need a prince that can ensure that we will see happily ever after lasting for forever, because happily ever after and forever really do exist. And that is something that I have never ever wanted to take away from anybody, is the chances of happily ever after and forever existing, because it is the reality of life, because we're put here on this earth to help one another, and if we don't help each other, then our purpose is not being fulfilled. I've always wanted to spread a message of kindness, and I like to believe that I have done that, and nobody has ever prevented me from having to do that, or nothing has stood in my way from spreading that message of kindness. But what it comes down to is you, the subscriber, you, the viewer of these videos, are who makes that decision to hit that subscribe button. And if you go out of your way to hit my subscribe button, you will not regret it, because I think you're really going to like it here on this YouTube channel. I will always be here to create fun videos for you about Descendants and Zombies and the way they were finally meant to be produced for the better part of the last decade, because you've been deserving to hear and see a lot better than what you've been watching on YouTube as it pertains to Descendants and Zombies, and I just wanted to give that to you with a heart and a half and put my heart behind these videos, because it really means just as much to me creating these videos as it does for you watching these videos, because you have deserved nothing but the best for far long enough now, and I just wanted to give that to you because I love you so much. Thank you so much for having made me the voice of Descendants and Zombies. It has been an honor, and remember what I said now. For every like or every person who hits the subscribe button, if you watch this video in full and you do hit the subscribe button or you hit the like button a few times, if I get 5 likes, I will create more videos for you guys, and this channel will always be here spreading the kind message of Descendants, because we only have one life to live, and we look at the same moon, and somewhere within those stars tonight, the words "I love you" are written in those stars. You may just have to look a little bit harder at the constellation to see it, but trust me, the words "I love you" are there, and you will see them if you look hard enough. Be kind to one another. Bye, YouTube. We will do this again tomorrow morning, and depending on how many likes I get and how many subscribers hit the subscribe button, I will create one video throughout the day tomorrow for every like that is put up for this video. Thank you guys so much. I love you so much. Be kind to one another, and we will do this again tomorrow morning.